Hello and welcome to Sketch Together. This is part of a series on Sketch Basics. On this session, we're going to learn about symbols. Symbols are super powerful and super important, and I think makes Sketch particularly awesome to use. So let's go ahead and learn how to edit them, to create them, and all the cool things that you can do with them, like nesting them. So let's go ahead and do that.
Symbols are great for elements that are repeated across your design. They share style, position, size, and effects. When you change one symbol, it changes everywhere that symbol is being used. And it's useful in elements like navigation, on your headers, on your status bar, your buttons, cards, icons, etc. All elements are going to be repeated and you're going to be using them a lot. You will probably want to use symbols. And it's different from text styles and from graphic styles in that it's more like a group of elements. And also you can even nest symbols inside symbols. So let's do an exercise real quick so you can learn how to use this. So for example, there's if you're designing a mobile app, there's a chance that you're going to be using this status bar a lot. So for example, I have this dark and light status bar. So since I'm going to be using it a lot, I'm going to create a symbol. Let me change customize my toolbar so you can see. I'm going to put it icon text, done. And you will see here an icon that says create symbol. A tool. So you can select any layer or any group and you can create a symbol. So right there, I'm going to status bar dark. I'm going to create a symbol. And on this one, I'm going to create a symbol too, status bar light. This name is being taken from the layer or the group that you have already put in it. So it's already by default giving you the name, but you can edit it and change it. So, and you're seeing that it says send symbols to symbols page. The thing is that the first time you create a symbol, it will create a new page where all your symbols live now. So over here on the left, on the pages, you will see that now your symbols are over here. So you can even rearrange them and your symbols live inside an artboard, just as in any other artboard. And over here, if I go back and I want to edit it, I will go to the symbols page and then I can return to the instance where I was editing. So here I cannot really, in context, I cannot really edit the size or the elements or the colors or any graphic styles. I will have to double click and then here I can change anything. I can change it, I don't know, instead of PM it's going to be AM, and the same over here, instead of AM I'm going to change it to PM. And now if I go back to my page, you will see it there. Now it's AM here, and apparently it didn't change it here. But you see how it will change here. And also, not only that, but also, for example, here, I don't know, this design changes instead of a dark, it changes to light. I can just click on it, and then here I can see what symbol is being applied, and I can just change it to a different symbol if I need to. So right now I'm going to change it to dark, and now it changes to that symbol. So that's pretty cool. Let me undo that. And so that's pretty cool, pretty basic. And these elements you're going to create once and then you're not going to edit them again. But it comes in pretty handy when you're doing stuff that is repeated, but also you do an edit. For example, here it has a label, but you want to have a list of these elements, of these rows, of these cells over and over, but you probably want to have control over the text. You want to always have the same spacing and the same style, but you want to have control over the text. So let's go ahead and create a symbol from this. So I'm going to create a symbol, and right away, I'm going to use cell/label, and I'm going to explain why the slash in a moment. And I'm going to do the same with this one. This is a cell, but this one is switch off. Okay, cool. And actually, I think I mixed up. This one should be switch off and this should be label, but we can change it in a moment. Anyway, here, as you will see, it has over here on the right, instead of all the different elements that you will have on a normal layer, you have something that is called overrides. And this one will detect any text layer here, and you can override it. So by default, it gives you a label, but you can say notifications, for example. Notifications, you change it there, and then it changes here. See how it's not changing the style or anything? If I want to change the style, I can just double click on it, and then here, instead of black, I'm going to do it red. I don't know why, but now it changes here. It's respecting my value that I put on it, which is notifications, but it's just also respecting the style from the symbol. I'm going to undo that real quickly. And then, cool, I have those two new symbols. Let's double click them. And now that I have them here, I can actually just for the sake of being organized, I can organize them here. I organize these two together that way. I can here now edit them. So this one actually should be switch off. So I can just rename it to switch off. And then this one should be just labeled. Labels. Label, no, let's put it info. That way it's telling me about this info because they all have labels. Okay, cool. So I created this, and then even here I can duplicate, for example, this one, and I can say, you know what, I'm going to create a new symbol. And I'm here on the symbols page, and I can create new symbols, and this one is going to say no info, for example, no info, and then I delete this info. And there you go. Just a normal cell with no info, it just has a label. And obviously, probably you don't, we're using these icons here, but probably the icons is something that you will probably want to edit, but let's keep it for now. So over here, let me move this a little bit here, and I'm going to duplicate this, duplicate it again, and now I can go ahead, and this one should not have info, so I'm going to do this, and on this one, the info instead of sketch together is going to be 2 items, for example, and then the label, instead of label, I'm going to call it I don't know, resistance. I don't know why. Resistance, and this one is going to say settings. There you go. And now see how everything I have control over the labels, I still have freedom of changing them, and it's respecting all the different values like colors and style. And that way it's just like if you change it for example here, if I were to put over here, I can just like duplicate the symbol. I have this symbol. Let me use the same symbol in different places so you can see the power of the symbols here, here, and here. And on this one I'm going to say yo sup, and this one is going to have nothing. Oops, sorry. It's going to say nothing. That's what it's going to say. And then the label is going to say what's up. Okay, this is dumb, but you get what I'm saying. Sketch. There you go. So now that I changed it there, you know what? I double click on it, and you know what is going to happen. You know what? I'm going to change this instead of regular. I'm going to change it to bold. And this one is going to be, instead of this medium gray, I'm going to say even lighter gray. Then I go back, and it changed everywhere. It respected the labels. It's keeping the same labels. No label though. I'm going to put it here. But it's respected all the values from the symbol of the different style. So it becomes pretty powerful, and it will help you a lot in your workflow. As you notice here, I have other instances of this. I have these 2 switches. So since sometimes I use the switch on and switch off, I can create a symbol from that. So I'm going to create a symbol that is called switch off. And this one is going to call switch/on. Cool. And I want to tell you about the slash. Why did I name it switch/off? The thing is this: once you go to insert, you can go to symbols here, and then you will see that it groups things by the name that you gave it. So for example, all the cells are now inside that I call cell/something. Now they're grouped here, and that way I keep my symbols a little bit more organized, and I can just I press on and I can put it anywhere in my artboard. Okay, that's cool. I created those symbols, and now I want to put it here. That way I'm using the same symbol everywhere. So over here, this thing is not a symbol. This is just a group, a regular group, but I can actually get to put this symbol. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to drag it and put it over here. Oops, sorry. No, that's not how it's done. I'm sorry. No, you have to insert the symbol here. So I'm going to put switch off. I'm going to put it right here. And see how this is a symbol that is inside this. So now I'm going to put 3. There you go. My spacing is good. And now if I were to change it here, it changes here too. See how cool is that? Since this is the parent, this is just following this. So it's pretty powerful when nesting symbols inside symbols, because that way you can go a little bit more granular on the elements. So yeah, I can now, for example, I can duplicate this one, And this one I'm going to call it switch on. And obviously you know what I'm going to do. So instead of having the switch off, I'm going to put switch on, and I have a different layer that does that. I go back here, and you know what? Now notification should be on. I can just change it, and there it goes. And then if I were to double click on this, and if I were to change the color of this, instead of this, instead of this green, I want to use a blue, I change it here, and it changes over here too, where I'm using that same symbol inside this symbol. It's like a symbolception. There you go. Okay, cool. So that's cool. And another cool thing about symbols, for example, another example is when you use buttons. So buttons, sometimes you want to have a primary button, a secondary button. You do the same. I create a symbol, button / primary, create another one, button / secondary. And then over here, if I want to use this same button, but I want to say continue, for example, I can change it here, and I change the label. And you know what? Instead of wide, I want it to be, instead of secondary, I want it to be primary. You can just change that, and it's going to say continue. Continue, and I go and I edit this. And you know what? Instead of blue, we want it to be green because I don't know, because it's cool. Because things change. And there you go. It changed here, and it changes everywhere. So yeah. Now, the cool thing also about symbols, it can get pretty complex. That was pretty simple, but sometimes you want to have control, not just overrides, not just on text, but also on images. So for example, here, all of these are groups. As you can see, all of these have layers and everything, but it would be better if I just have a symbol. So I'm going to actually just create a symbol out of this, where this one is the main title. I'm going to actually call it here title. This one is going to be info. And this one is going to be, I'm going to move it around here. This one is primary, and then secondary. So primary and secondary action. And then I have my background, and I think I'm ready. I'm going to select this group, which is called card, and I'm going to create a new symbol. And there you go. I create the symbol, and I can duplicate this symbol over here. And let's duplicate it again over here. I create a grid. And for example, this one, it is using that same symbol. They're all using the same symbol, but I want to change the titles and the images, not just the text. So for example, this one, I want to change the image, and it will change it for me. I can automatically choose a different image. So I'm going to go to here. I have it downloads. I'm going to use Mexico, and boom, automatically respected everything. It just changed the image, and I can just go ahead, and the title is going to be Mexico, and the info is, it's the best city ever. Arriba, amigos. There you go. And then, vamos. Vamos. Hold on. Apparently, I did a little bit smaller than it should be, but that's okay. I can just double click on it, and I can make that text layer a little bit bigger, and it will be fine. Actually, I'm going to say it auto instead of fixed. Auto. Then I go back, and now it is fixed. Vamos, and I can add a couple of these. There you go. And I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to choose a different image. I'm going to choose Boston. And that's cool, right? That's pretty easy, but also like I can edit anytime. And you know what? The cards should be a little bit smaller. So I can just do it here. I do it once. I do that change once, and let's see what happens. See how all the cards are changed now. I still have to adjust them, but that's easy compared to all the work that I would have need to do. So over here, apparently I did not do my job the right way. Let me also change the size of the background. I'm going to change the size of the background. There you go. And the change of the rectangle, 0, 0. Let's put it at 0 too. There you go. And then let's do the same with the background. Apparently it should be 0. I don't know what I'm doing. There you go. Let's go back to return to instance, and now we see that everything is in order. And it changed everywhere. It respected the size of the images, respected the labels. All it did, I changed the style, the sizing, and it was perfect. Actually, I'm going to change this to a little bit bolder. Do bold, go back, and it's bold everywhere. So as you can see, symbols can be your best friend when you're using Sketch. So go ahead and give it a try.